side, we had a pantomime. Now, there's not even a pantomime. I mean, Donald Trump gets up and says, well, Assad is smashing ISIS and jihadists, so is Russia, which is sort of half true, not really, and says, well, we should be working with them to do this common thing. And who cares about human rights? Who cares about democracy? We don't know who these people are. We have to get our own house in order. We have to build virtual and physical walls. So in a sense, Trump can sort of rip the veil from the face of American foreign policy and say, yeah, we're withdrawing. And what's wrong with that? Let other people pick up the slack. You know, it's interesting.
Maybe that's useful. Maybe that would mean that actually the world that is in flux has to sort itself out.
It would be useful if, as Barack Obama laid out in his interview with David Remnick in The New Yorker, when America pulls back, you force regional powers into a state of equilibrium. I would argue no. What ends up happening is the war in Yemen, which is a foretaste of things to come. You create a vacuum, and that vacuum is exploited by America's enemies, the primary ones being Russia and Iran, which are now, and this is the future policy or strategic vision that I'm hearing out of the Trump administration, we're going to try and cleave Putin away from Iran. Nice work if you can get it. There is no Russian strategic depth in Syria without Iranian proxies on the ground guaranteeing
and that's the problem with bilateral arrangements, right? Yes. You very quickly get into complexities of other people's relationship with other people's where the enemy of your friend is, or your friend of your enemy, or whatever it is.
And also,
I'm mangling the phrase.
As a final note, look at all of America's allies who feel betrayed or abandoned, or they don't quite know what to make of America's role in the world and American leadership at the moment, either in the last 8 years or certainly now, with this kind of court jester, improvisational man in the White House. We shouldn't be in the state that we're in. I mean, you know, Russia, China, and Iran have a kind of strategic relationship for sure. And in the Chinese case, I think we'll agree it's more transactional than it is, you know, in terms of power projection. But we have got, you know, the second largest army in NATO is the northern country to Syria, right? Which is running the Syria file and mismanaging it, I would say. What are we doing to exacerbate the contradictions or tensions and shooting ourselves in the foot? We're enabling a proxy that the Turkish government, be it Islamist or secular, sees as a primary national security threat, namely the PYD or the Syrian affiliate of the Kurdistan Workers' Party. I mean, you're sitting here with a Turkish national who could probably articulate this better than I. This is strategic madness. It makes no sense. It's all tactics. I think, though, Putin, and he often gets misclassified as a tactician and not a strategist, I think he does look a little more into the future. He at least knows where America's vulnerabilities and its shortcomings are, and he exploits the hell out of them. That is the one tie that binds, I think.
Jerome, I just want to get you in a second. Milik, in